We left off over here. We'll just go back to the top. Chaf Aleph. Today's Chaf Aleph. Okay? Ilfa Rabbi Yochanan, Havigarsi Doraisa. Yeah, very top of 21a. Ilfa and Rabbi Yochanan, they study Torah. The Dechikulu Milsa. And they had very difficult, oppressive financial issues. Tuva. Amri Nekov Nezel Veneved Isko. Who in the Kaim B'Nefshi says, we're going to go and we have to get involved in business. And we will fulfill regarding ourselves. Efes Klo Yevocha Evion. It says in the Torah, there will not be a destitute person. Meaning, we're going to address the issue of destitution. Destitute. Oslu Osivi Tusiguda Rio. Said both of them, he sat by a wall that was a shaky wall. Havakabarchi Rifto, Karchi Rifto. They were breaking bread. They were eating their meal. Osi Tremalche Ashoris. Two angels come. Shami Rabbi Yochanan Ami Chad Lechavri Nishte Aluye High Good of Daklatinu. So one angel says to the other, let's take this wall, just throw it over them, kill both of them. Why? They abandoned the world to come, and they're valuing the material world. Therefore, they deserve to be killed, to be die. So the other angel says to the one who wanted to topple the wall, Shafkinu, leave them be. One of them now is going to rise to become a star. His moment has come, meaning to become a great Torah sage. And therefore, it's not his time to die yet. He has to make his mark. Therefore, you can't topple the wall. Rabbi Yochanan Shama, Ilfa lo Shama. Rabbi Yochanan overheard this conversation between these two angels. Ilfa, his colleague, did not overhear this conversation. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan Ilfa, Shama Marmidi. So he wasn't sure. So he said, Rabbi Yochanan says to Ilfa, did you hear anything? Amalei lo. So he says, no, I didn't. So when Rabbi Yochanan heard and understood that Ilfa did not hear the conversation, Omar, Medeshami Anovi, Ilfa lo Shama, since I was privy to the conversation, Ilfa was not, Shmamina, this concludes to me, Lididi Kaimali Shaita, that I'm meant to rise. I'm meant to become, we'll see, he became a Rosh Hashiva, he became the leading Torah sage. Omar le Rabbi Yochanan, so Rabbi Yochanan, when he realized this, he says to his colleague, Ahader, Vukha ben Avshai, he says, I'm returning, I'm going back to learn, and I will establish for myself, Kilo Yechta Levion, be careful for it. I'll remain the destitute persons, okay? There'll still be poor people. Rabbi Yochanan Hadar, so Rabbi Yochanan Ilfa lo Hadar. Rabbi Yochanan did not go, went back, Ilfa did not, Ilfa went to make his fortune. Ad de os Ilfa molech Rabbi Yochanan. By the time Ilfa came back, Rabbi Yochanan became a Rosh Hashiva. He was the head of the yeshiva. Okay? He said, Minu Rosh Hashiva Lein. Now, Rashi says something interesting. You know, the Gemara says in a number of places, that if a person becomes a Kohen Gadol has to be a rich man. So let's say the one who was qualified for Kohen Gadol was a poor man. So his brothers, all the Kohanim, they have to contribute to give him wealth, that he should be the most prestigious of all of them, to be the wealthiest. So he says there was a minute by Rosh Hashiva, the person became a Rosh Hashiva, to give him that stature, the community would have to contribute wealth that he should be a wealthy man. So Rabbi Yochanan, who originally was destitute, when he became the Rosh Hashiva, he became a wealthy man simultaneously. Because anything less than that is not respectful. Rashi says, Mishu Rosh Hashiva, Mishalem, Mashino, they will make him wealthy. Kedamino Gabi Kohen, Godel, Besifro, Biyuma, HaKohen HaGodel Me'achov, Gadleu Mishalochov. You have to elevate him from the means of his brothers. Okay, so listen to the story. So, Ilfa went, made his fortune, but Rabbi Yochanan went back, he became, not only did he become Rosh Hashiva, he became wealthy. So he had the cake and he ate it too, both. Omar. So what happened? Omru Lo said, they said to Ilfa, they said to Ilfa, Omru Lo, Yosef Mar, the Goris, he says, if you would have remained here and learned the way Rabbi Yochanan learned, Havi Malach Mar, you'd be Rosh Hashiva. So Rashi says, because in mind, in ability, Ilfa was greater than Rabbi Yochanan. He had a greater mind. He had greater potential. So he said, you know, if you would have remained here and not go off to make your fortune, you'd be the Rosh Hashiva. Rabbi Yochanan wouldn't be the Rosh Hashiva. So what did he do? But despite the fact that he went to the world to do business, he himself, he retained his Torah knowledge and continued to learn. And he wanted to prove this, that he was not in any way, he did not regress at all. He says, Ozal Talia Navshe Baskari the Svinter. He went and he hung himself in the mast of a ship. Omar, Iiko the Shol Libe Masniso the Rabchia Raboshe Vlo Pashito Le Mi Masnisin. He says, if somebody who asked me anything from the Bryce of Raboshe, Rabchia Raboshe, who they're the ones who set the Tosefta in orderly fashion, and I can't quote a corresponding Mishnah, I will throw myself in the mast of the ship into the river and I will drown myself. That's how sure he was, confident was, that he retained all his Torah knowledge. There's a famous story when the Rosh Yeshiva Torah Vadas passed away in the 40s. They needed a Rosh Yeshiva. He passed away suddenly. Reb Shlomo Hyman said, "Need Rosh Yeshiva." Said it was a certain person, lived on Lower East Side, who was genius beyond, who was also, but he was a businessman. So they had to recruit him. This before Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky came to Torah Vadas. So they went to him and says, "You have to do us a favor. Leave your business, become the Rosh Yeshiva of Torah Vadas." And that's what he did. He was a businessman. So he closed his business down, whatever it was, and he came to Brooklyn. He became the Rosh Yeshiva. You know, especially in those days, there were no positions. So he had to support a family. So that's what he did. Okay. Osahu Ksaba Tonalek. So there was an elderly sage says to Ilfa, he's taking him on his word. He said, if you can't find a corresponding Mishnah with Tosefta, you're going to throw yourself into the river and drown yourself. So he says, okay, I'm going to pose something. Ha'omer, a person leaves in his will to his children. He says, Omer Tunu, and he leaves. There's a guardian who's going to distribute the money from the estate to the kids. He says, Tunu shekel lebonai b'Shabbos. I want you to give a shekel, which is a half a cell to my children per week, to provide for them. Ve'ruyin los islam seller, but it turns out a shekel is not enough. They need twice as much. They need a seller, no slim seller. So what did they do? Give him a seller. So Rashi explains why. When the father said give a shekel, he didn't mean only a shekel. He wanted them to be what? To be frugal. I mean, try to get by with a shekel. But if a shekel is not enough, so you double it. It's not a problem. V'omar. However, he said, whatever the father says, no, only give them a shekel. With the inference is no more than a shekel. And no slim el shekel. Then you don't give them more than a shekel. Even though the shekel doesn't make ends meet, doesn't make a difference. What about if he said to them, if after my children pass away, I want you to pass on the estate to a third party? Whatever terminology used, if he wants, there should be left over for somebody else to pass on later. That means clearly, when he said shekel, he meant only a shekel, not more than a shekel. Even though he didn't say, I don't want you to give more than a shekel. He's giving the shekel because he said, he already revealed his intent. Since he says whatever's left of the estate pass on to someone else, that means he wants to guarantee the estate remains intact, that there should be something to pass on. His estate. He died already. We'll see in a moment. So you say, well, how could he dictate? The man died. It belongs to the kids. So that's what the Gemara is going to discuss in a moment. Einos leil shekel. Omalei, so this old elderly says to Ilfa, who is this anonymous Tosefta? Who is this attributed to? Who do we attribute it to? Omalei Hamani Ramehi. This goes according to Rameh. Who's Rameir? The Oma Mitzvah Kam Divrei Emes. That you should follow the last will and testament of the mess, even though on a Torah level, you'd say, look, once the man dies, the estate passes on to the kids. He can no longer dictate the status of the estate. But if you're of the opinion that there's a mitzvah to heed the word of the deceased, so that's Ramesh. That's who he says. This anonymous Tosefta, who is going like a Rameir. This was Ilfa's response. Okay? Now, this is the beautiful Gemara. There was a person, his name was Nochem Ish Gamzu. Anything happened in his life, he always said, Gamzu Latova. It's for the best. You hear doctors call cardiology, says, you only have healthy patients, no cardiac issues. The doctor says, Baruch Hashem, but you're not going to make a living. Gamzu Latova. Hashem doesn't want, I should have 6 patients, let them be healthy. Okay, Gamzu Latova. Omer Olav al Nochem Ish Gamzu. They say about this Nochem Ish Gamzu was the Rebbe, one of Rabbeim, Rebbe Akiva. He was one of Rebbe Akiva's teachers. Listen to this state. Shoya Suma B'Shteinov. He was blind in both eyes, totally blind. Gidim B'Shtei Yodov. He was both of his hands were paralyzed. Kitei B'Shtei Raglov. He was an amputee on both feet. V'Chol Gufo Molishtin. and his body was covered with what? With boils. And he was lying in a bed in this rickety house that was about to collapse. You hear this? And the legs, the feet of the bed were in pails of water. Why? Because since his sores were oozing fluids, the ants would crawl up the legs of the bed and they'd attach themselves with maggots. So they were in pails of water, so the insect should not be able to crawl up the feet of the bed. Listen to the story. So there was a time his house, because his bed was in this house that was about to collapse, Bikshu Talmid of Lefanos Mitosos, his students that were concerned for his safety, so they wanted to take his bed out with him in it out of the house. Listen to this. Then they would take all the other, his possessions out of the house, his vessels. Omer lehem, he said to them, this is Nachum Gamzu, you see what kind of holy man he says. Omer lehem, bonai pnu esakeh, first remove all the vessels. And then afterwards you take me out. Because it's guaranteed as long as I'm in the structure, it's not collapsing. And they followed instructions. Pinu es hakelim. They removed all the vessels. Pinu es mitos. Then they removed his bed with him in it. The house collapsed. So he read it right. Omerlo Talmidov. Listen when they asked the question. They didn't ask the question until they saw this. It was a miracle. So they saw how holy he was, what kind of tzaddik he was. Omerlo Talmidov, Rebbe. Since we see you're an absolute tzaddik, hear this? They didn't say tzaddik ato. They knew he was a tzaddik. But tzaddik gamur, you're an absolute tzaddik. Because when they saw such a miracle that the house didn't collapse, even though it should have, in his merit, lama also lochkach, why is God punishing you to such a degree? Blind, paralyzed, an amputee, covered with boils, totally. Omelem bonai. Ani garamti latzmi. He says, I brought this upon myself. I brought all this on myself. What's the story? I was traveling on the way, to visit my father-in-law. And I had 3 pack animals loaded. One was loaded with food. The other was loaded with drink. The other was loaded with delicacies. 3 pack animals. A poor man approached me on the way. Rebbe Parnaseni, he said to Rebbe, feed me. The poor man said to, feed me. He says, just wait one moment, I just want to unload the donkey. That's what he said to the poor man. Before I had a chance to unload the donkey, the man expired, he died of hunger. So he attributed that he's at fault because he hesitated. He didn't respond immediately to the request of the poor man, and the poor man died. He faulted himself that he's the cause of the man's death. This is Nachum Mishum Gamzu. So what he says, what did I do when I saw this happen? I went and I prostrated myself on the face of the corpse. Vamarti, my eyes did not take pity on your eyes. Yosumu, my eyes should become blind. My hands did not take pity on your hands. Yizgadmu, here, should become paralyzed. Raglai shechosu al raglecho yiskatu. My legs that weren't concerned for your legs should become amputated. But I wasn't satisfied. It wasn't enough for an atonement. I said my whole body should be covered with boils. This is Nachum Shamsuk speaking. So students, when they heard this, said, woe to us that we see you in such a terrible state. Such a state. He said to his students, woe to me if you wouldn't see me this way. Meaning, there is a claim. At my level, there's a claim. So unless I accept upon myself this level of suffering, I'm going to pay the price in the world to come. Therefore, I'm fortunate that I'm suffering to this degree. Okay? That's the story. I once had a story. Many years ago, I was still living in Baltimore. I visited Brooklyn, Williamsburg, with my kids. We were there for some reason. And all of a sudden, there's a man, I don't know if he was Jewish, not Jewish. Turned out he was an Italian. And he's like groaning and moaning. And he says, I'm starving to death. Somebody give me something to eat. This is the way, and he was like groaning and moaning, and he keep going. And he approaches me. I'm starving to death. Please give me $1 to buy some food. I hear this. The first thing comes to mind is this Gemara. First thing, immediately I take $1 out of my pocket, put it into his hand. Immediately. Didn't make a difference. Jew, not Jew, didn't make a difference to me. I give him the $1. He continues down the street. Give me $1. I'm starving to death. You know, it was a show. That's all it was. You know, so but I didn't want to take a chance. Can't take a chance. Okay. Why did he assume the title Nochem Mishgam? Because there was an incident. Listen to the incident. The Chol Milsa Davi Soka Leg. You hear this? Anything that happened to him. Oma Gamzul Tova. Regardless of how ominous or how dire things were, Nochem Mishgam, everything is Gamzul. It's for the best. Listen to the story. Zim Lechado Bol Shturi Yisrael Doron Lebei Caesar. The Jews needed a representative to take a gift to the Caesar in Rome. Omru Man Yezel. Who should go? Who should take the gift? So they said, Yezel Nochem Ish Gamzu. Nochem Ish Gamzu, he should be the one to take it. Why? The Melubet Benisim, who? Hear this? Because when you go to the Caesar and you're a Jew, to come out alive, you have to be a miracle maker. You have to be a person that God will perform miracles on your behalf. He's the man. Because he is Melubet Benisim. Yeah, listen to the story. They sent with him a chest filled with diamonds and pearls to take as the gift to the Roman emperor. So he stayed over in an inn, in a certain inn, for the night. They went, the innkeeper, they went and they found the chest. They emptied it. Yeah, they took the diamonds and the pearls out and they loaded it. They filled it with earth. You hear the story? They filled it with earth. Lamochi chazinu. The next day he saw it. He saw it was filled with earth. Amzu gamzul tovei. What do you mean? How do you go to Rome? You take a chest of earth to Rome? He says it doesn't make sense. If that's what happened, gamzul tova. It's for the best. But it was a king's ransom in there. And how you can go to gamzul tova? Ki moto hosam. Hear this? When he came to Rome, sharinu lesimto. They opened up the chest. Chazinu m'temoli afra. They see it filled with earth. Hear this? What's going on over here? This is the emperor. Boy malka l'kilinu l'kulu. He says, you kill all the Jews have to be killed. Why? Omar k'mechachi bi yudoi. The Jews are making a laughing stock out of me. What are they mocking me? Sending me this is a gift, a chest of earth, or a chest filled with earth. So when you hear that, he says he's going to destroy all the Jews, the Roman emperor. How does Nochem Ish Gamzu respond? Gamzu Latova, it's for the best. Os Elio, idmi lekechad minayu. Elio comes in the form of a member of the Roman Senate. Omar lei, and he says to the Roman emperor, Dilma ha'afra mi'afda Avram Avinu, avunhu. This earth is the miracle of the earth that Avram Avinu used when he fought the four mightiest kings. The Chavishad Afra Avisaifi, when he threw the earth, it turned into spears. Gili Havigiri, when they threw chaff, the chaff turned into arrows. The Chsiv Yiting Ka'ofer Charbo Kekash Nidav Kashto. You have this? So therefore this earth, don't underestimate it. This has greater value than diamonds and gold. Where's this pasuk? Gimel. Where's this pasuk? Where's this Gimel? Pasuk in Yeshaya. So listen. There was one province, the Romans, they couldn't conquer. There was a province. So they were going to check it out. Is that miracle? Botkumine, the Kapshu, they used it, and sure enough, it was the miracle earth. The earth similar to Avram Avinu's earth. So what did they do? They took Nochem Ish Gamzu into the treasury of the Roman emperor. They refilled the chest with diamonds and gems. Yeah? Okay? Because they're appreciative. The man, he brought us things worth more than anything. And they sent him off with great honor. Okay? He went back to the same inn. The innkeeper thought he'd never see him again after he arrives in Rome. You know, people who bring a chest of earth, they're not coming back. He says, what happened? They gave you such honor. Listen to the story. Hear this? He says, what I took here, I brought there. So he says, I knew there was earth in the box. but you don't realize this earth that you have here is miracle earth. That's what he tells the innkeeper. So what do they do? Sasidu, right? They demolished the house, and they filled up a wagon load of earth, wagon load, Vamtula Bei Malka, and they bring it to the Roman emperor. Omrulei Hayafra Daisi Ocha Mididan. Who? The earth that they brought you originally, that's could you 2 seconds? But Kua, so they checked out the earth. And it didn't work. It was a suicide mission. So what, they killed the whole family. The Romans killed his family. So from what Nachmish Gamzu, everything's Gamzu Latova. Ezi Dever, okay, back to the halach. Ezi Dever, what's considered Dever, a plague where you have to start fasting, the most extreme level of fast? If you have 500 people living in a city, adults, and you have so many corpses, people dying every day. A city that has 1,500 people, 1,500 going Kfar Aku. Aku had 1,500 adults. 9 people died over a 3-day period. Zachas at consecutive days. That means 3 people a day. Hareza Dever. That's considered a plague. The city has to fast, the most extreme fast. What about if all 9 died in one day? Rather than spread over a 3-day period, Obedal Jamu was spread over a 4-day period, Ain't it ever. It's not considered a plague. Because it has to be a chazok, it has to establish a pattern. What about a city that has 500 people? Going to Kfar Amiku. There was a Kfar in Israel in those days. Judah, this is a little history. Okay? There's a city in Israel called Kfar Amiku. It's not far from Modi'in. Not far. 3 people died over a 3-day period. That means 1 person per day. Hareza Dever. That's considered a plague. He's fast, the most extreme level of fast. What about Biyom Echor or Bar B'Yomim? Let's say 3 people died on the same day or over 4 days. Ain't Dever. It's not. Now there's another city in Israel, in Eretz. It's called Dorokis. Dorokras. It has 500 people. 3 people died on the same day. Gozer Rav Nachman Bar Rav Chisda Tanisa. Rav Nachman Bar Rav Chisda, he declared there should be a fast. So here you had how many? 3 people on the same day. We quoted before the other Chachamim. It had to be spread over a 3-day period. 1 corpse per day. 3 died on the same day. What happened? He declared a fast. It's tragic. Omer Rav Nachman Yitzchok. So we have 2 Rav Nachman. One's Rav Nachman Bar Rav Chisda. The other's Rav Nachman, the son of Yitzchok. So he said to him, why? He says, Command Rav Meir. Evidently, you hold like Rav Meir. We'll see in a moment. Let me explain what this is. The halacha is, if you have an ox, and an ox gores 3 times, it's considered a goring ox. Now, the 3 times it gores, does it have to be over a 3-day period? Or even if it gores 3 times in 1 day, it's also established as a goring ox. There's all kinds of financial issues. So the Chachamim say the gorings have to take place over a 3-day period. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Each day one goring. If they gore on the same day, the ox is not a goring ox. You say it happened, fluke. Rameir says, I disagree. If over a 3-day period, it's considered goring ox. So definitely, if it all happens at 1 day, definitely it's a goring ox. So he says, you, Rav Nachman, son of Rav Chisda, if you're saying you have 3 people die on the same day, that's a clear indication it's a plague. You must hold like Rameir. The other said it has to be 3 over a 3-day period. You say even if all 3 die on the same day. So it's similar to the gorings. If 3 gorings over a 3-day period establishes as a goring ox, Rameir says, so definitely if all 3 happen in 1 day, it's a goring ox. Right? So similar here. If 3 corpses over 3 days is considered a plague, so if 3 people die on the same day, definitely it's considered a plague. That's what he said to him. Listen to the story. Omalei Rav Nachman Rav Chisda Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchok Leikamar Leisi L'Gabon. Rav Nachman Yitzchok was sitting among ordinary people. Rav Nachman Yitzchok was the chief rabbi in his community. He says, why don't you come sit with me? Yeah, sit with me. Sit in a more appropriate location. Omalei, so listen what he says. Omalei, Tanina, we learned in the Mishnah, very famous. Rashi and Bay brings us. Here, one's location doesn't honor the person, but it's the person that brings honor to his location. So therefore, I don't have to come to you. You got it? I could sit among ordinary people, and it's still special. Because it's not the location, it's the person. Yeah? That's what he said. Where do we find such a thing? We find Har Sinai. As long as the Shekhinah was on Har Sinai, Omer Torah, Gamatzon Vabakal Yiru El Mula Horahu, right? It says that the sheep and the cattle cannot graze near the mountain. What happened when the Shekhinah ascended from the mountain? Shekhinah, Nistal came in, Mimena Omer Torah, Mishochayu Vahemi Yalu Bahor. The moment the shofar stops blowing, they could approach the mountain. But it's the same mountain. So what's the difference? Because before the Shekhinah was there, now the Shekhinah is not there. So is it the mountain or it's who's at the mountain? Okay? Chemotzino, Bol Moed. Right, you had the camps, the formation of camps, and what was the center camp? The Mishkan was in the center. What would be when they would dismantle the Mishkan? The location of the Holy Holies, you were forbidden to go there. Even though when it was set in place, you couldn't go there. Because when it was set in place, what was in the Holy of Holies? The Shekhinah. The moment it's dismantled, the Shekhinah is no longer there. So again, what determines the quality of the location? Is it the location or who's founded that location? Right? As long as it's set, it's erected, a person's a leper, he has to be sent out of all the camps. What if Huglu HaParoches? The moment the Paroches is rolled up, they go in that location. Why? The answer is because the Shekhinah is no longer there. Amalei, hear this. So he says, Yochi, Nekum Anol Gabi Mar. Yeah, he says, if that's the case, if you say you're so special, he says, I'm coming to you. You're saying you don't want to come to me because it's not the location, it's the person. So therefore, you know something, maybe I'll come to you because you're so special. Amalei, Mutav Yovo Mona Ben Pras, Eitzo Mona Ben Mona. Let somebody who's of a prestigious status, the son of the one who's not of such a prestigious status, come to the one who's of a prestigious status to one who's also prestigious status. Why? Well, Yov Mona Ben Pras will mean like this. Rav Nachman was Rav Nachman, the son of Rav Chisda. His father was ordained. Not only was he ordained, his father was ordained. The other Rav Nachman, he was ordained, but his father is called Yitzchak. So his father was ordinary status. So he says, because your father was of special status, my father's ordinary status, it will be a greater honor for me to come to you rather than you coming to me. That's what Rav Nachman, the son of Yitzchak, said to Rav Nachman, the son of Rav Chisda, because his father was ordained. Listen to the story. Besuravi Dibarta Bishvusei de Rav. There was a plague in the neighborhood of Rav. Rav was the leading Torah sage in Bovel. Excuse me. Besuravi Dibarta. In Surah, there was a plague, but Bishvusei de Rav Lohavi Dibarta. But in Rav's neighborhood, there wasn't. The plague did not enter into his neighborhood. Sovrum Yinei. So what did the people say? Mishum Schusei de Rav, the Nofish. Yep. Why did the plague enter into Rav's neighborhood? Because of the great merit of Rav. His merit would not allow the plague to enter into his neighborhood. Ichzelu b'chalmo. Hear this? So the people thought this. They dreamt something. What did they dream? Rav the fishes chusei tuva. Hamilsas utrelate. Rav, his merit is so great. This is child's play. You don't need Rav's merit to prevent the plague. It's unrelated to Rav. For Rav's merit, you could turn the world over 1,000 times. This is meaningless. So why did the plague not enter to Rav's location? The grave diggers in his community, they need tools. There was somebody in the neighborhood would lend, in his area, lend his shovel and his pick to the grave diggers that they should be able to do a proper burial. So since they were concerned for the dead, this person was concerned for the dead that they shouldn't be in disgrace, that merit of that mitzvah protected them that in that neighborhood there should not be any corpses. That's the reason why the plague didn't enter into that neighborhood. It's terrific. Bidrokris havid lekusa. In this city we had before Kfar Rokris, there was a conflagration, there was a fire. Ubishvusei de Rafuna lohavig, lohavis lekusa. But in the neighborhood of Rafuna, the fire didn't come. Sovamino, b'schus de Rafuna. Similar. They thought it's in the schus de Rafuna. The novish is stop. Because it's tremendous merit. That's why they were protected from the fire. Ischazlu b'chilma hayzutra lei. Same thing with Rafuna. Rafuna schus. This is meaningless. Ela mishum ha'uitzot. The mechamemis tanura u'mishai l'shvusa. There was a woman in that area. She would fire her oven for herself. Then she would invite her neighbors who couldn't afford the fuel, and she would let them use the hot oven to bake their food and cook their food. So because she used the fire for mitzvah, which she didn't have to, she did chesed, therefore she says, if that's the case, fire doesn't come to your neighborhood. Fire over here, because the fire is positive here, you're not going to have any negative fire. So it's the merit of this woman. You understand what this is? It's unbelievable. Chas v'shalom, the tragedies. What do you need to avert a tragedy? One simple woman does an act of chesed. That's enough reason Hashem will protect, that community is protected. This will not happen. Because since this person is sensitive to that and uses fire in a positive way, fire will not come in the negative way to bring destruction to this community. Many stories you read about the Arizal, that there was once a decree from heaven that some community should be destroyed. Whatever, and the Sultan gave a decree that they have to be displaced and whatever is, and they went to the Arizal. Arizal said, you know, in that community, there's a woman who's a widow, she doesn't have food to feed her children. Everything else was perfect. They did mitzvahs, but people are insensitive to this woman's need. Nobody's sensitive. The moment they made the correction, the decree was annulled. You understand? Doing chesed, not doing chesed can make a difference, whether it's, God forbid, heaven or earth. That's the difference. But you have to see it. The Arizal revealed it, and they made the correction immediately. The decree was annulled. A little further. Listen to the story. Interesting. Omer leilu Rav Yehuda osu kamtzik. They said to Rav Yehuda, the locusts are coming. Here, the locusts are coming. Goza Tanis, immediately he decreed a fast. Omer lei loko mafsedin. So they said to Rav Yehuda, there's no reason. They haven't caused damage. This locust, there's no reason. Omer lei zavda aisibele. Did they bring their lunch with them? What are you talking? They didn't catch it. If they're locusts, they got to eat something. Think they're going to devour everything. What do you mean? Did they bring their lunch with them? Famous story of Moshe Feinstein. There was a person where Moshe oversaw a get. This man divorced his wife. 3 months after the divorce, she met a man. She got engaged immediately. She's getting married. So the ex-husband, who she was divorced from, was upset. Here he's all by himself, you know, and his wife's already creating a new life for himself. So he comes to Moshe with a complaint. He says, you realize she's already getting married. They already sent out the invitations. That's what this person says to Moshe. She's upset. So Moshe says, what? You're upset she didn't send you an invitation? That's what Moshe says. Same thing. He declared a fast. There's disaster. But they're not eating. He says, what, did they bring their lunch? You know what I mean? What do you think they're going to eat? They're going to devour everything. Omalei Rav Yehuda Iko Musna. This is good for you, because especially in your background. They said, Iko Musna b'chaziri. Yeah? The hogs are dying. The pigs are dying. Goes to Tanisa. So immediately Rav Yehuda decreed a fast, declared a fast. Name Ksava Rav Yehuda, Makas Mishulachas Minech Mishulachas Kamaminim. Evidently he holds that if the plague is affecting one species, it could affect even another species. No. Shiny Chazir the Damyan Me'ayu Lebenei Inchi. Hear this? A pig, its intestines are similar to a human being's intestines. And because there is this swine flu, and they're affected, therefore if there's a swine flu, the human being is susceptible to the same flu. The human being is not considered like a different species. Because the intestines are similar. You know, they do, you were in research, right? They use rabbits, whatever, but there's certain things about pigs, no? Something about their, the parts of the heart, the valves are different. Don't they? Similar, that's what I'm saying. There's similarities. That's what the Gemara is saying. So if the pig, but I'm saying, but if the hog is affected by a flu, the human being have to be concerned, because you see, But evidently it has to do with also with the digestive system. Since the digestive system is similar to human beings, therefore the human being is susceptible to what the hog is susceptible to in terms of the plague. These are for medical reasons.
I see.
That's the exception. We will continue. The rest is Agada to do.
We know,